send us what card you have and we'll do some research for you. We'll gladly do that. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wax Talk with Raw Mints. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Bruce.
And on today's episode, we're going to be talking to you about how to price or value your rare cards or low pop or low serial number or pretty much cards that don't have much history, sales history or movement, and kind of the methods that we follow and just kind of sharing our own personal experiences with pricing rare or very low pop cards. But before we get into that, we have two announcements like we made on the last episode. The first announcement is subscribe on YouTube. If you search Wax Talk with Raw Mints, please go out there and subscribe. We appreciate you continuing to subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify and everything else. But this is just one thing that we really have a big ask that we can build our subscribers up there as well. So if you could go ahead and do that, we'll be posting the same audio format. There's no video, but we're going to be sharing our episodes with even more people and trying to gain more followers that way as well. The second announcement is please be sure to check out Shop Raw Mints on Instagram. That's our official shop page for Raw Mints. That's where we're going to be posting a lot of cards that we have for sale. They're going to be graded, they're going to be raw, and you are going to be getting a great deal no matter what. We're going to be beating eBay prices and even knocking prices off of that too. So please be sure to check that out. Again, on Instagram, that's at Shop Raw Mints. And be sure to send us a follow, shoot us a message. And if you see anything that you like, we'll be more than happy to work out a deal with you. And we look forward to speaking to you there. You can speak to either of us there. We'll be definitely designating if it's one of our cards, if it's either my card or Bruce's card. Obviously, whoever's card it is going to be doing the negotiating with you. So definitely check that out. Again, that's Shop Raw Mints, our official shop page on Instagram. And as always, thank you for listening every week. We appreciate your continued support. So let's get into today's episode. So like I said, today's episode, we're going to be talking to you about how to value or price your rare cards. This is something that's come up quite a lot. We've actually gotten quite a few messages on Instagram about this, and collectors come to us looking to price their rare cards or their very low pop cards, and we honestly just try to give them the best advice possible and to try to determine a fair market price. This may not be how everybody else does it, but this is how we do it, so we wanted to share it. In a nutshell, pricing our cards is, say for example, you've got a PSA 10, or we can even use our own example actually. So you recently got a card back from grading after 15 years. You got your 2016 Devin Booker, that's first year optic, Devin Booker Auto Signature Series, and that got a PSA 9, and it's a holo, and there's not much of a pop in general, and there's not much sales movement in general for the holos. There's PSA 10 sales, there's some parallel sales, some base sales, but as far as determining the price of that PSA 9, it was pretty tough. So this is something that we've actually ran into recently, and it's kind of hard to determine fair market value, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and for that specific card, I'm pretty certain that the only way that you would get an auto like that is in holo form. So I don't think there's like a base card with the auto. I think it's holo, and then you have like the retail, maybe like purple, and then there's probably other numbered examples that exist. But again, because the pop report is so low on these, these few cards that we found, mainly being the purple and the holo, you just don't see these other things pop up at all. So Like one of the biggest points that I want to make is with certain cards, whether it's like really fresh, super ultra modern, or just something that's kind of obscure, even non-sports or whatever, is you kind of have the ability of determining the market on what you think that card should be, and that can play two different factors because you have the reasonable sense of comparing it to whatever else you can, but then you might have, some sentimental value attached to it. So that's two different things that can determine the market as far as how you price that card. But the best thing to do is be fair, and just kind of go off of any other comparison that you have to bring it as close. When it comes to grading, it's a little bit harder, especially with this card and other cards that we've ran into with soccer. It's like a lot of the soccer cards that we have, you don't necessarily even see them raw, let alone graded. And if you see them raw, it's like no one else has graded that card. Maybe more and more now we're starting to see it, but with soccer especially, I feel like we're having to kind of like determine like what price we think we should start with, you know what I mean, and then go from there.
Right. And to kind of round out that example that we were talking about, so just by doing a quick eBay search, so say that you've got a low pop card, say that you have this exact card, right? Let's just walk you through the scenario that we decided for our pricing. So there's a few different things that you can try to do and try to search to try to find some semblance of a price or a fair market value. And even just by doing a recent search, there's only 2 cards listed that are graded at the moment by PSA. So the first thing that we do is you just go ahead and search for 2016 Optic Devin Booker Auto PSA and see what pops up, see what's listed. Because the pop's so low, there's probably not going to be much. So right now there's 2 slabs listed, and one of them is ours. It's a PSA 9, and I won't tell you the price yet, but there's also a PSA 10 that's listed for $999. $999, so pretty much $1,000. So we have a PSA 10 example that's currently listed, and the next step that you'll do is you just go to keep the search there, keep the same search, and then click sold items, and then switch to ended recently. So right now, as it stands, there's only one other sale, and it looks like it's a best offer accepted. And this is for a 2006. This is for the same card, but like you said, the retail purple, not numbered. And this is for a PSA 10. And because you can't see the best offer accepted, the asking price was $1,285. So who knows? Could that be $1,000 sale?
And it could have been half of that or less. You don't know. And the biggest thing too with that card in particular is you have to take into accountability even what if there's any raw sales, because a raw sale might determine what a PSA 9 should go for a round, you know what I mean? And then you have the multiplier of a 10 or whatever. But with a card that is, more rare like that, it's also good to know what the raw versions are selling for, if any at all.
Right. And that's the thing. That's that's actually the next step that I would have gone through. So we have the PSA 10 example of the hollow, which was around $1,000. That's the other listed copy, right? And then we have our ended recently. The only recent sale was a purple, and who knows what that closed at, but the asking price for a PSA 10 of the purple is $1,285. So like you said, the next step is to look up what's currently available as far as raw cards go. So you do the exact same search, the 2016 Optic Auto Devin Booker, and you just take off the PSA. And as it stands, again, it's our card, the PSA 9 that we have, the PSA 10 that's listed, and there's a numbered to 25 of the card, and that's listed at $879. So with this example, this is probably one of the best examples that we could give, is because it's so low pop, and this is actually something that we went through, and it's just difficult to find this. So since there's literally only 3 other cards in the last 30 days listed, and one of them's numbered to 25, so that's a lot more rare than the hollow, even though the hollow is pretty rare in general. But a card numbered to 25 is listed, same auto, but obviously numbered to 25. It's a blue prism, and that's listed at $879. So a raw, low serial numbered card is going for $879. A PSA 10 hollow is going for $1,000, and we kind of felt that, you know, a fair market price is $600. That's what we're asking. That's a fair asking price.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
But since this is actually your card, like it's real easy to say. I mean, should we just give it out? What you would accept if anybody's out there listening?
I don't know about that, because for me, like, I like making money on cards, but I'm also, like, I'm always trying to trade. So if somebody came to me with like a decent Devin Booker rookie card graded, I'd probably trade that for that card, if that makes sense. But that's just me as collecting, is like, I'd rather, that's first year optic, first year Devin Booker optic, second year card auto. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I'm coming from, I guess. Like, I'd rather shoot for a rookie card, but to a Devin Booker collector or somebody that's invested into him, that's probably a card that they want to have, And as far as, that the low number to 25 Devin Booker, I mean, that could have just been, that's not a card you come by, and that's just preference of what the seller thinks it should sell for. You know what I mean? Maybe it's off-centered, or maybe it's not in the best condition and he's lowered it for that price, or maybe that's just what he doesn't know what to go off of, so he's naming that price. I mean, you really don't know. You know what I mean? But to a Devin Booker super collector, I mean, they're going to pay a premium for his cards, especially more obscure like that, especially if it's graded. In our example, though it's a PSA 9, there's just not a lot of other ones to go by. And if people have these cards graded, they're probably just keeping them for their PC or for whatever reason, or they're a Kentucky fan, or who knows.
Right, or a Suns fan. So since we only had 3 other examples to go off of them, 2 of them being graded, one of them not knowing the actual final price, and then one being raw, numbered to 25. So the next step, since that, to me, that's not a whole lot of data to make a fair assessment. So the next step that I'm going to do is my new search is going to be 2016, since this is second year Devin Booker, which is significant, 2016 auto Devin Booker PSA. So taking out optic and seeing what's available. So
yeah,
the card that pops up is the 2016 Threads, which is kind of like that jersey looking card, like it's a die cut jersey, and that one's numbered, that auto's on card, and it's numbered to 99, and a PSA 9 is going for $965. We have our optic 10 PSA 10 hollow there, we have our PSA 9, and then we've got a 2016 Prism Gold auto, which is numbered to 10 PSA 9, and that's listed at $1,500. So
that actually sounds like a good price.
That sounds like a good price to me, but that's the thing. So if that sounds like a good price, our card's not numbered. Our card's a PSA 9. Granted, it is a hollow, but like you said, they come in hollows. That's probably the base version, the starting point at least. So, I mean, where we have your card priced at is $600 or best offer, right? That's a little less than half than his Prism 2016 numbered to 10 PSA 9. So, in my opinion, like that's kind of a good starting point. Again, there's not a whole lot of second year autos even available on the market with PSA. So, I mean, I think because ours is the lowest available, that's going to be the first one that pops up when it's as far as graded examples. So let me just take this a step further, and I'm going to go ahead and remove PSA from the search, just like we did with our initial search. So right now, the lowest available auto, okay, is a 2016 Prestige Devin Booker, and this is numbered to 99. So again, a serial numbered card. but this is graded by SGC and it's an 8.5. And that card is going for $270. The next lowest card is the 2016 Panini Preferred Choice Blue Auto, and this is raw. So blue, so it's numbered to 15. This is those encased, and that's going for $325. But again, that's raw. And to
But
kind
to
of
15 seems
right,
pretty good too. That's, I mean, like with Devin Booker though, I feel like if you want a decent auto of him, and this could be potentially rookie year or anything afterwards, you're gonna expect to pay $200 to $300 raw for that card. You know, maybe some stuff graded. You know, so it's just adding in, you know, being that it's PSA graded, it's a mint condition card. It just gives it more of a boost that way, I think.
So as far as our price goes, like where do you think it lands in comparison to other autos of his second year, you know, out there, whether it be raw or graded or even graded by SGC? Like, as far as our card goes, again, there's only two listed, and one's PSA 10, one's our PSA 9. Like, if these raw copies that are low numbered, actually, which pretty much all of them that I'm seeing here are serial numbered cards, are going for anywhere from about $270 to about $600. And that's raw. That's non-graded, other than that SGC 8.5, which is a pretty tough grade.
Yeah, and it depends on the set too. I mean, it could be a card that's especially hard to grade, especially the thicker it is. I mean, it's not abnormal to see 8s and 8.5s. But bottom line on this card is anybody listening that is like really invested in Devin Booker or likes him, we're open to trading this card or selling this card, whatever. And it could be even something that, like, I mean, me and Carlos, I feel like, are in, you know, in a way, like, I'm trying to make sure he gets cards. I mean, it's about everybody getting what they like, you know what I mean, and feeling like they're getting a good deal. So if you want to trade some cards for that Devin Booker, and some cards go to me, some cards go to Carlos, I mean, I'm happy with that. You know, for this kind of card, you want to set the market as far as finding somebody that actually wants the card. It's going to be a very specific choice, you know, as far as getting that card, because it is first year optic. I mean, there is the, you know, the significant things about it, but it's really going to appeal to like a specific collector, as far as whether you're really focusing on first year optic or Devin Booker or, you know, whatever it may be. So, I mean, the price is to be determined on that, dude. I mean, it's hard to say, you know what I mean? We're asking a price on it, but it's negotiable, and it depends on, you know what I mean, what's involved in it as far as who it's going to.
Right. And another point that I wanted to make, I want your quick opinion on this. So, being that the majority of the other autos that are raw, that are going for like $300 to $600, being that those are all serial numbered, which is always a good thing, it's rare, right? How would you say that, you know, low or any serial numbered auto of Devin Booker from second year, how would you say that stacks up against first year optic auto, which is also obviously his second year, but does that hold, maybe would you say, similar weight? I know it's not serial numbered, but it's also first year optic, which is kind of a good price selling point, you know?
Yeah, and I know you even, for example, were picking up, I think PSA graded examples of even the base Devin Booker and the hollow Devin Booker from that set, and I think that's incredibly a great move, as far as, you know what I mean, not only that it's a second year card, which we've talked about before, but the fact that it's first year optic. Optic is just appealing to most collectors in the modern day era of you know, of the hobby, with Prism and Optic and Select and stuff like that, and that may change, we don't know, but if it does change, those things are going to still hold some sort of value. But for us, it goes back to the first year of Optic or the first year of Prism. Those things hold a significant value in itself. And, you know, with Devin Booker, I mean, yeah, you can find a bunch of numbered cards. Most of the numbered cards, I feel like, are going to be thicker cards, or like really like chipped up cards. I don't know. Optic is usually especially in the early years, like presented fairly clean. Centering, I feel like that's why that Devin Booker got a 9, was the centering was slightly off. Otherwise, that was a really clean card. So centering is always a factor with Optic anymore. But yeah, I mean, that first year Optic is going to appeal to a lot of collectors, let alone second year Devin Booker. I think that that's a big thing to note on that kind of card. So somebody needs it.
Right. And just to clarify for anybody listening that doesn't know, when we say first year Optic, that means that's the first release of that product. So it's the first year that product was released. Just to clarify.
And the base version of it is Dunris. I mean,
right.
It goes
right.
Dunris and
it
then
stems.
Optic.
Yeah, it stems from Dunris cards. So let's transition. I wanted to cover another topic. Well, not so much a topic, but sorry. Let me start that over. So that's kind of the method that we use specifically for that card. And again, we're open to offers. That's why anytime we do or best offer on pretty much all of our cards that we list on eBay, but it's specifically for that card. Another pro tip, if you are listing it on eBay and you aren't really sure of the fair market value, usually whenever we're listing our cards and we do select or best offer, we usually have a cutoff point to where people can submit offers, and it auto declines if it's too low. With something like that, you have to kind of be a little bit more liberal with your with your cutoff point, just because you just don't know what offers you're going to get or what other people might think it's fair value. Obviously, you don't want to get lowballed, but you might want to open it up a little bit further, expand that a little bit more, so that you potentially get that right customer that thinks that they're paying a good price for it. And again, to always stress, you determine your value of your cards. And that might mean that you're not going to sell it for a while. You might not ever sell it, or you might, get laughed at, but it's okay. It's okay for you to determine exactly how much your cards are worth. And if somebody's not willing to pay it, then so be it. But if they are, then they know.
You always hope that the right buyer will come along for whatever reason that may be. Maybe the player gets better, goes up in value, or maybe you actually find somebody that likes this player for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Also making sure that people feel like they get a good deal on something is important. As us going to card shows or shops and we want to buy singles or whatever, we want to get a good deal on something for whatever reason it may be. I mean, that's normal. But yeah, just depends.
And to transition into something that maybe is another example that we can use without getting too deep into my exact process, but it's very similar. If it's real hard, we've mentioned before, it's real difficult to price soccer right now. Now, we don't know what the real hype is going to be. We don't know where the ceiling's at. We kind of know where the floor is at, which was whenever they were worth nothing 2 years ago. But yeah, as far as the ceiling goes, that's to be determined, like you always say. But if you do have a card, if you're finally getting your cards back that you sent in a year ago when the soccer hype was really building up like we did, if you're finally getting your subs back and you find yourself with some, refractors or low numbered cards, serial numbered cards, and you got pretty decent grades, another quick way to try to see what that card could possibly be currently going for. Again, we don't know where the real ceiling is as far as the value is. It could be much higher in the future with the World Cup coming up. But as far as the current market value, say that you have a Topps Chrome blue refractor to 150, right? Say that you have it graded in PSA 9 or PSA 10, doesn't really matter. If you're not seeing any movement, if you're not seeing any sales activity on eBay, whether it be current listings or current recent sales, another way you can do it is see, okay, well, if the blue to 150 is hard to find, maybe look up a green maybe you look up a purple, maybe you look up an orange or a gold. Search, just change your search to the different refractor types, and you can kind of base that where you think your price should be on, or where you think a fair market value is. If you are listing it and trying to sell it, you can see if you search, okay, well, if I have a PSA 10 Mosala blue refractor to 150, I'm going to look up PSA 10s of, like I said, the greens, the purples, the oranges, the golds, and I'm just going to try to see if there's anything else that's listed or anything else that's ended recently. And it's not necessarily a mathematic as far as like, oh, well, if I have a 150 and there's a numbered to 50 card out there, then that means that my card is three times less than that 50. That's not the case. There's lots of factors that go into it. We know that blue is a very popular refractor color, even though it is higher numbered, especially with Panini products.
Usually to 150 or so, but there's always that multiplier for everything.
Right.
And don't be afraid. I mean, for new collectors, that eBay just dominates everything as far as sales and stuff like that. But especially if you have raw cards, I mean, don't be afraid to look into your local card shop and even looking through a Beckett or purchasing a Beckett for $10, for whatever your favorite sport is, because that kind of holds your value. If you have a raw card and you at least consider it near mint to mint, I know that's like a PSA 8, but that's kind of like what Beckett goes for, is as far as like, that you have a near mint to mint card, and seeing what a base card goes for. And then a lot of the sets that you have, you'll see, the blue, the green, the purple. And if that card's not listed what the exact price is, you could at least multiply it by whatever the base card value is, and that will give you a better idea. But grading kind of changed things up for Beckett in a lot of ways, because you're like, what is my card really worth? It's this card books 2,000, but then again, like when it comes to vintage cards, like if a card books 2,000 and you have that card raw and it's in really beat up shape, it's not worth 2,000. And that's because, in a Beckett, you're counting in that it's at least a near mint to mint card, so that's why, like, for us, as far as like pricing and figuring out ways to like come up with prices for certain things, like you have to count in that kind of stuff, like the knowledge of knowing what things are raw and also knowing what they could potentially be graded, in the higher premium grade that it goes. You set that multiplier yourself, but it just depends on what it is, I guess.
Let me ask you this, and if just off the top of your head, say that it doesn't matter the card, doesn't matter the player. Say if a base PSA 10 card is going for $100 and you have a refractor or a silver or a hollow version PSA 10, where do you think that multiplier is? Doesn't matter the player, doesn't matter the sport, just kind of in general. 2x, 3x?
Well, I mean, again, we always have to go with like, as we primarily like graded cards, so like we have to go off of pop reports. So like the problem is when you have like really recent cards, the pop report is always going to be low. And that's what we've gotten into with soccer, is it's not necessarily that cards are rare, but nobody's grading the cards that we're grading. So the pop report is low. Like a lot of the stuff that we get is like pop ones or just rare stuff that way.
And another great tip that we want to share is, if you are having a tough time valuing your cards or pricing them properly, use social media to your advantage. Reach out to us. Send us what your card is and send us a pic if you can, if it's raw, or let us know that you have a PSA 10 or 9 or whatever. Send us what card you have, and we'll do some research for you. We'll gladly do that. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. And we know that there's a lot of other accounts out there that would probably feel the exact same way. I'm sure that if you message Slabstocks, one of them would get back to you at some point. They're pretty busy guys, but also reach out to people that you see at shows, or people that you see go to a lot of shows, because they're out there on the front lines pretty much of the hobby, getting the best deals, making the best, flips at, whether it's pickups or flips. They might have picked up something that you're trying to value, and they might even pick up another one from you. But reach out to those people like Roth Cards, is a good example. He's always at card shows. Miss Sport Cards, she's always
I love
at
watching
card
those
shows.
card show videos. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Sunday League Investors, if you're looking for soccer, they have helped us many times with both raw and graded card values. Like, reach out to these people. They're great people. Those three people that I mentioned, I've interacted with them and they're nice. And I'm sure there's tons of other people that go to shows that are active on IG that would gladly be able to help you determine your value. And who knows, you might even make that sale directly to them, because you see them out at shows, you see them at card shows, so they're picking up. So it's kind of a win-win. So that's another little tip that we suggest. Again, always reach out to us. We're always here to help. So let's get into our pickups and flips of the week. My pickup of the week, I've been looking at these cards for a while. I truly believe in Marcus Rashford. I know that you do too. And I've been kind of staying away from his base cards because they are so low, even though I have picked some up. But I've been trying to find, again, some parallels or some low numbered or low pop cards. And I picked up a 2018 Topps Chrome. This is card number 68, Marcus Rashford, blue refractor, numbered to 150. And I picked up a PSA 9 of that for $60. What about you?
My pickup is going to be a different one. It's a 2020 Topps Chrome Formula One. This is the Max Verstappen. I think I'm saying that right.
Verstappen.
Max Verstappen. This is like the base card. It doesn't have the RC logo or anything like that, but it's like the base card from the set. Thanks to our friend Jordan, who sets up at the Mesa card shows, who's pretty invested into Formula One. He was kind of leading me in the direction. So it was kind of like a deal that I got that card and a few others, but I picked that card up for around like $60 value. I know they've sold for that raw and probably over $100 or so. I know that the SP variation and like the refractors, I mean, they're crazy amounts of money. I wanted to get into a Lewis Hamilton card, but that didn't happen. So I was just trying to like pick up some of the other guys to look out for, I guess. And I got this card raw along with a few others, and I mean, they're in decent condition. I don't think it's an easy set to grade, but I mean, nothing notable that kind of led me away from picking up these cards. I mean, it just seemed right. So we'll see what happens with that card. Maybe I end up grading it or just hold it, or maybe I sell it. I don't know.
Keeping your options open. So my flip of the week, this shout out to those 2017 Revolution hangers that I picked up. My flip of the week, I actually pulled out of one of those hangers this time last year. I pulled a 2017, like I said, Panini Revolution Mohamed Salah, so Mo Salah. This is card number 98, and this is the sunburst version of this card. And I pulled it and I sent it in for grading. Just got it back probably at the beginning of this year, and it graded a PSA 9, and I sold that for $70. So for a fraction, a very, very small fraction of the price that I sold it for, I probably got it like realistically like 10 cents per card as far as those hangers go.
You had like 487
right
of them,
but I sold that for $70, and
that's a beautiful card. That's what I wanted to say too, is like, that's a beautiful card, and I know that's one of your PC guys, so I know you have like probably 5 to 10 of them raw at least, just holding on to, which may be gems at some point, who knows. But
exactly,
yeah.
If it would have 10'd, I would have kept it, but since it 9'd and it's not serial numbered, and it's pretty much the exclusive to the hangers, like it's not as rare as people might think. But
yeah, and if it would have gem though, I feel like it's one of those things as far as like determining the market on it, like you wouldn't know where to begin on something like that. So
exactly.
I mean, you just tried to figure out a fair price on a mint copy. Nice. My flip of the week is going to be a small flip from the most recent 2021 Donruss NFL. Pulled a couple Trevor Lawrence rookies. Probably fairly clean, possibly, mint gem worthy. I had them at the last show and I had them at like 15 a piece. I had two of them out. Somebody offered me $20, so I gave somebody a good deal on two clean Trevor Lawrence rated rookies.
Wait, you sold them for 20 each, or you sold them both for 20?
No, total of 20. So I had them at 15,
I was just
15
like,
each.
that's not a good deal.
Because no, here's the thing: is like when they probably came out, they were probably like $30 to even $50.
Right.
But at that point, I was like, he's doing terrible. Like, I didn't know if like I had his cards at several shows and nobody was really interested. Granted, they were like the college like chronicles, stuff, but I had those out and somebody was interested. And I told them 15, and then they came back later on and said, "Well, how much for the bolt?" I said, "Well, $20."
Nice.
Just offering a deal, and it worked.
For sure.
And those are probably at PSA right now.
I'm
Just getting
sure.
gemmed.
I'm sure. But who knows? The Jaguars are not going to be doing anything this season, I'll tell you that. But those are our pickups and flips of the week. All right, man. So do you think that, I know that we could probably even go deeper, but I think that sharing what we did as far as the method to valuing or pricing our cards, I think that we did a good job of walking somebody through it. Is there anything that you kind of wanted to add to that, or anything you wanted to make note of?
No, I think it's just the most exciting thing in the hobby is pulling the most like rare, obscure items. And once you have those things, you're thinking this has got to be like worth a lot, whatever, you know what I mean? But again, you have to remember if it's something that's very rare, if it's rare enough that you're going to have to determine the market that way. And that comes down to the point if you're trying to make a move with it as a raw card or a graded card. So those are the two factors to, I guess, focus on a little bit. But, the excitement in the hobby is picking up those rare, cards that you don't come by, whether it's older stuff or if you're pulling stuff out of packs that's low numbered. I guess don't be in a rush. Because depending on how new or old it is, we say do your research as far as looking at, sales and what other options people are asking and stuff like that. But when it comes down to not being able to find any of that, you just got to do your research and do your best comparisons based on what the player is and what the product is.
Right. And again, like I said, if you have any questions or if there's anything that we can help you with, definitely reach out to us. We'll do our best to do our research on our end and search up what we think a good fair market price is. And you don't have to take the advice, but we're here to help. So definitely reach out to us. And speaking of reaching out to us, please be sure to subscribe on our YouTube. If you just search Wax Talk with Raw Mints, you'll be able to find us there. So hit that subscribe button for us there. And also follow us, our new shop page on Instagram, Shop Raw Mints. Again, that's at Shop Raw Mints. Be sure to check that out. We're going to be posting a lot of cards that we have for sale. We're going to be trying to move a little bit away from eBay a little bit. Yeah, that comes with its risks, but it also comes with no fees or minimal fees. So we are aware of that. We're aware that we're not paying fees through eBay, so we're going to be coming down in price. So please be sure to check that out. If you see anything that you like, shoot us a message. You can we hope that you follow us and you can just message us there. That's where we're going to try to be doing the majority of our business. But if you see it and you want to talk to us on our regular Raw Mints page, you can do that as well. But we really hope you enjoyed today's episode. We hope that we kind of pointed you in the right direction. If you do have some rare cards you're holding or some low serial numbered cards that you're holding on to and you don't know how to value, that's kind of one of the methods that we use, and it usually works. But again, if it doesn't, reach out to us and we'll see what we can do to help. And again, reach out to those other big accounts that, do a lot of business at card shows. They're always looking to pick up, and you might be the right seller for them if they're trying to find the right price. So with that being said, this has been another episode of Wax Talk with Raw Mints. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Bruce.
Thank you for listening.